Okay, now I'm going to show you how to stitch a bullion knot. You're going to bring your needle up from the back of the fabric and then take a stitch length forward or however long you want the knot to be. Bring your needle back down, leaving a loop of that working thread on the top of the fabric. Then bring your needle back up in that same hole you originally brought your needle up, and wrap your fabric gently. You want to do as many wraps as you need to fill that space. You can see I'm laying my needle down to see if the knots cover that area. And then you hold with your non-dominant hand the wraps around the needle and pull your needle up through those wraps. And then you nudge them down so that they're flush with the fabric. And you've got a nice little bullion knot. It's recommended to use a milliner's needle when you do bullion knots because the eye of the needle is the same size as the shaft, but I will confess that I cheat and I often use whatever needle I'm working with. So I'm bringing my needle up from the back of the fabric, going forward a length. That can vary depending on how long you want your bullion knot. Bring your needle back up in that first hole and wrap your needle gently, and then see if it fits that space by laying your needle down on the spot, and then nudge those knots down flush with the fabric, and holding them with your non-dominant hand, you pull the needle up through those wraps gently, nudging the knots down against the fabric, and you've got a nice little bullion knot there. And next I'm going to stitch a little tiny bullion knot to show you, like if you're stitching lavender, you might stitch a few tiny little bullion knots up and down the stem of the lavender. So I brought my needle up from the back of the fabric. This time I'm just taking a short little stitch length, and I'm holding that working thread in a loop on the top of the fabric, bringing my needle back up in that hole and wrapping the needle gently, and nudging those knots down against the fabric, and then you pull your needle up through while you hold those wraps against the needle, and again you just nudge the knot flush with the fabric, and there you've got a short little bullion knot. So that is how to stitch bullion knots. You can see that you can make them all kinds of sizes depending on what you're working on.